Hi, I'm Trinity, and this is TV with Trinity. Welcome or welcome back. So one of my favorite shows of the 2024-2025 network season has been High Potential. It started airing on ABC in 2024, went into 2025, ended in February. I absolutely loved this show. It was so good, and I need more people to be talking about it, so this is me convincing you to watch High Potential. Just to start off, I feel like if you like Wild Cards, Bones, Castle, even like Law and Order SVU or like NCIS type shows, you'll probably like this one. One, because it has the consultant element of Castle, Wild Cards, Bones, but it also has the law aspect, not as gruesome sometimes as Law and Order SVU, but both of those things are in this show. So what is High Potential about, you may ask? High Potential is about Morgan, a single mom of three who's currently working as a cleaning lady at the police precinct. One night, she is cleaning up and she sees a suspect board and she changes the things on it. The next morning, she gets called in for questioning because why would she change their board? But she's like, you guys were missing something and this is why. She turned out to be a high potential intellectual, which means that she has a extremely high IQ. I believe they say it's 1 to 60, so she's just super smart. And in order to solve the case that she fixed something on the murder board of, Selena, the head of major crimes, a character we meet in that first episode, brings her on as a consultant to help with this case. So she is partnered with Detective Adam Karadak in order to solve this case, and they ended up bringing her on as a full-time consultant because she is just that smart and she needs to help them see the things that they're missing. But in agreeing to do this, she asked that Selena look into the disappearance of her oldest daughter's father, Roman, and that's a through line story through the season. So let's go through characters of the show just to break it down for you so you can follow along when you start watching. I think we're going to stay with mainly reoccurring, but I'll let you know if it's somebody who's not reoccurring. So Morgan, obviously, who's just been brought on as a consultant, and her three kids. She has Ava, Elliot, and Chloe. Elliot also has HPI, so we get to see them connect on that level. Chloe's just a baby, so she hasn't really done anything yet. And then Ava, kind of a rebellious teen, but she does really love her mom, and we get to see that relationship kind of grow throughout the season. And Ava is also the child whose father is missing, named Roman. Next, we have Karadak, or Adam Karadak. He is Morgan's partner at the LAPD. He's an actual detective employed by the LAPD, and at first he doesn't really want her to be his partner, but he warms up to her eventually. So then we have Daphne and Oz. They are two other major crimes investigators. We see them the most out of everybody else at the precinct other than Selena, who is head of major crimes and the one who agrees to look into Roman for Morgan. And then last but not least, we have Ludo. This is Morgan's ex and the father to Elliot and Chloe. And once Morgan starts working at the LAPD, he becomes the Manny, and she gets to pay him to take care of the kids because she's making more money now. Now moving on to relationships, and this is also where we're entering a little bit of spoiler territory, so if you want to skip ahead, just because some of these relationships are canon and then others are just like what I'm hoping for. So our first canon relationship, Morgan and Tom. Tom is the day janitor at the precinct. He and Morgan meet in episode 6, and they have their first date in episode 8. It doesn't last long though because he gets into nursing school in San Diego. They continue to kind of talk and text, and they see each other in the last episode again. But to me, their chemistry is like a 7, and I'm just personally rooting for other relationships to come to fruition. So we'll see how their relationship continues to run its course in season 2. Okay, now the Morgan relationship that I'm rooting for, Morgan and Karadak, I just feel like they are going to be the perfect slow burn, just like in Castle. And I just like, as we've seen through season 1, their banter has gotten so much better, and like they really care about each other. So I can't wait to see that happen eventually. If we get there, fingers crossed.
I know how much this means to you. That's why it matters to me too.
Well, that's sweet. I appreciate that. But he was very clear he doesn't want to deal with cops. It has to just be me.
No, it's too dangerous. Morgan, guys like Gio, they are unpredictable. You need to think about what you're risking. No. I will play this the right way. I'll get exactly what we need from Gio.
I know what I'm doing. You need to stop worrying about me, okay?
Hey, partner. Trust me.
This is another spoiler, so again, skip ahead. Since it was revealed that Roman is alive in the season finale, I feel like he's going to come back eventually, and they will try to get back into their relationship, and it won't work, and eventually she will end up back with Karadak. But that's just my theory. And the last relationship that I am personally rooting for is Daphne and Oz. Like I mentioned earlier, they are another pair of investigators in major crimes. They are partners throughout the season. Their banter has just been amazing, and I called it. I feel to say episode 2 or 3 that I think that they were going to be friends to lovers, but I feel like it was really solidified in the season finale. Her saving him in the pool, her being the only one that he told about his dad, and all of those things, and like watching each other's backs. I just love it so much. So I really hope we get them in season 2, or at least a little bit. And last but not least, I want to talk about my favorite episodes of season 1. My first favorite episode is season 1, episode 7, titled One of Us. This episode, Morgan is taking Ava, her oldest, on a yes day. They end up going to the precinct because Ava wants to see where she works, and they end up being held hostage in the precinct. This is all in the trailer, so it's not too much of a spoiler. But I just love this episode so much because we really got to see how much growth our characters have from episode 1 to now, how much they cared about each other, how much they even cared about extensions of Morgan being Ava. Like, as soon as they realized that Ava was stuck inside, or that Ava and Morgan were separated, they were like doing everything they could to try and figure out where she was and get them out of there. And I also love at the end of this episode, Morgan is supposed to go on a date, I believe, but she decides to go hang out with them instead at a bar. And I just love it. Like I said, it really shows the growth that we've seen for all of them from episode 1 until episode 7. And then my second favorite episode, well, actually, I think this is my actual favorite episode, but since I'm talking about them in air date order, second favorite, but this one was the best out of the whole season. And that is the season finale, episode 13, titled Let's Play. When a anonymous tip comes into the LAPD, it sparks multiple kidnapping investigations, and they are forced to do different puzzles and games in order to figure out where these people are and who the kidnapper is. Turns out it was connected to somebody that Oz met once in a grief group. And I just love this episode so much because, one, the way the kidnapper puts together all of his clues, I just find it so interesting. And then also seeing another kind of growth moment, seeing how everybody else has kind of picked up some of Morgan's tendencies. So we see Daphne realize that the fonts are different, and it's like that's usually something only Morgan would realize. Daphne realizes it, and they're able to figure out where Oz is through this. And like I said, it was such a good episode. All of the little details just really paid off. I watched it twice, and I will probably watch it again by the time I'm posting this video. But it was just so good, and we got really great Daphne and Oz moments, really great Caradic and Morgan moments, and the cliffhanger had me screaming at my TV, like finding out that Roman was live, finding out that this person knows Morgan, where she shops, where she probably lives, and it was just wrapped together in the perfect little bow. So I cannot wait to see what they do with this in season 2, because I'm assuming that this is going to be connected to Roman's disappearance, and so we'll have to figure out what all of that has to do with each other. Like I said, this has been one of my favorite shows of this 2024-2025 network season. I hope I was able to convince you to watch it through all of my points in this video. If you've already watched it, please let me know your thoughts on characters, couples, theories for season 2. And it already has been remade for season 2, so you won't have to wait super long for the cliffhanger answers. I think I'm going to post a rewatch on Shorts, so if you want to see that, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so anytime I post, you get a notification. And I'll see you next time. Bye.